I proudly represent a rural riding where we have our own way of life, and this government doesn't understand it. Rural Canada is far from having the majority of our population. But as I was saying earlier, we produce all of the things that urban Canada needs to have the luxuries that they enjoy. And in return, too often the Liberal government leaves us behind and forgets about us. And sometimes they impose things on rural areas that will make it harder, if not impossible, to continue to live there. Heard of the carbon tax, anyone? That's one of the biggest issues that people talk about that is driving up the cost of living, predominantly in rural Canada, also in urban Canada, but predominantly in rural Canada. The places hardest hit by the carbon tax. So for right now, they've been busy talking about a so-called just transition for oil and gas and for coal, even though they're still failing to make a just transition happen, whether they're located in the prairies or the Maritimes. And that's something that we also learned from a recent audit done by the Environment Commissioner. And since then, not much has been moving. We don't even see a budget item yet, Madam Speaker, for the just transition for these communities. And we're only 7 years away from the end date for some of these coal mines, some of these coal power plants that the government is going to force them off of, and yet they don't even have a plan or an allocation for how to deal with that. It's shameful. For the Liberals, it's not on their radar. I asked the minister what he planned to do with the people from coal-producing communities like Coronach and Rockglen in my riding, and in Souris Moose Mountain riding. And as much as he tried to sound as if he'll support rural areas, his answer and his examples actually suggest that people, rather than staying in the communities and working where they're at, are going to end up moving to Regina, places like Regina, or maybe moving up to northern Saskatchewan, or have to move out to Calgary, Edmonton, or out to the East Coast. A Liberal minister might think that Regina is part of the rural area, even though it's the capital city of Saskatchewan. Regina is a great place. It's a fantastic place. But that's not where the people from Rockglen, that's not where the people from Coronach or Willowbunch or Assiniboia, that's not where they want to be. They want to stay where they're at, in their communities, in the places where they're currently at, and the government is doing absolutely nothing to make sure that that happens after they have mandated away the #1 industry in their communities.